Inflation, by definition, is diluting the buying power of your dollar. So
I thought this was a fundamental law of nature. It's really human intervention.
It really is. Inflation comes from the word inflate. What are you inflating when you have inflation? And it's funny, if you've been watching some of your content or my content, you know that you're inflating the monetary supply. When you increase the amount of dollars out there without increasing the amount of wealth, the value of each individual dollar goes down.
You just broke brains. How do you increase money without increasing wealth?
So if I just print money, the Federal Reserve Bank, which is the central banking system of the United States, they have the ability to print money. They can increase the amount of physical dollars out there or increase the amount of currency through digital things. So the amount of money in circulation, they can increase this. And so if we go to a very basic example, if we live on a hypothetical world where there's me, you, and 3 other people, and each one of us 5, have $20 each, and that's it. We're each equally owners of 20% of this world's wealth. But what happens now if this new alien government comes in and then they magically gave us $20 more each? Are you going to be double as wealthy as you were before? You might feel like you are for a minute because you see, oh my God, I have $40. There's only $100 in this world. I have 40 now. And then you go and talk to your friends and you go shopping and then you realize, oh, everybody has $40. So now all of a sudden the price of anything you want to buy is going to be double because you've increased the amount of currency in this case without increasing the actual wealth. And so this is where you kind of have to differentiate currency from money, because you have to kind of define what money is, because money can have a couple different definitions. It can be a store of value or it can be a means of exchange. And what I mean by that is money as a store of value. If you look at physical gold, for example, gold is your traditional store of value because it takes time, effort, and labor to mine physical gold. So that time, effort, and labor is represented through a physical gold bar, and that is the value, the physical gold. Now, if we compare that to something like our paper dollars, it's very easy to transact with. It's a very good means of exchange. Gold is difficult to transact with. If I wanted to go to McDonald's and buy something with some gold, it's going to be very hard to do that, versus with dollars, it's very easy to exchange. However, it can be easily manipulated because the Federal Reserve Bank can print money essentially on command. So they can increase the amount of dollars out there, which decreases the value of each individual dollar. So while our dollars serve as a very good means of exchange, it's not a very good store of value. This is where now what wealthy people do is they want real money. They want something that's not only going to store their value, but also hopefully increase in value. This is what assets do. If you look we hope, right? You invest in assets for the purpose of making money. How does it make money? By increasing the amount of value that it provides. When you invest in a company or an ETF or anything, you want to invest in something that you believe will be more valuable in the future. If you didn't believe that, you wouldn't put your money in there. How is it going to become more valuable? How is McDonald's or Amazon going to become more valuable? Their goal is to produce more value, to create something new that will provide more value to more customers, and then that value is represented through revenue, through profits, through money. So you're investing in something that you believe will produce more value. Same with real estate. You want to invest in an area that you believe will be a more desirable area. Because if you invest in an area where businesses are moving to, where people are moving to, where jobs are moving to, you own that land, you own that property, you own that building that is now more valuable because more people want to be here. And now that is represented through money, through this currency, where now more people want to be there. So now rents are higher, property values are higher.
This is why this stuff gets complicated and why people turn their brains off. Because, for instance, if you pick the wrong neighborhood, you can lose your ass.
Right.
And this is where ETFs, index funds, become very interesting. To use real estate as an example, I personally, because I recognize how ignorant I am, I would much rather be investing in a whole bunch of neighborhoods across not only this country, other countries, because I don't know which one's going to pop off.
Yeah.
Right? So because there is so much uncertainty, it's like as you spread that out now, but to your point, you're limiting your upside, but you're limiting your downside.
Right.
That to me is far wiser. You don't become the next Ray Dalio by doing that. So
Sure.
you're not going to turn into a billionaire. But when you think, like when Ray Dalio was pressed, like what would you do? Like if you could only leave a set of instructions
Right.
to your kids about what to do with their money. You couldn't actively manage it for them. You couldn't have your company do it. You just had to give them instructions. And he came up with what he called the all-weather fund.
Yes.
And so it's just like, I don't know what's going to happen. So here's like the diversification
Right.
that you should put it across, and you're not going to make as much money, but you're not going to lose a bunch of money either.
Exactly.
And so all of this stuff is so freakishly complicated that, even better, it is so easy to be wrong and so hard to be right that your odds of getting it right consistently enough, because it's to your point about the monkey, if you looked at it in 6 months, the monkey probably loses. You look at it in 12 months, monkey probably loses. 18 months probably loses. 2 years maybe loses. 3 years though, it starts to be like, all bets are off. And by the time you get to 10 years, it's like the monkey's winning.
Yeah.
Just because you just left it alone.
Yeah.
Instead of thinking that you could outsmart the scenario.
And Warren Buffett did a very similar bet against some major hedge funds on Wall Street. And what he bet, it was a $1 million bet that the winner would give $1 million and then they would go to charity. And his bet was that the average person would be better off by investing their money into a low-cost index fund as opposed to actively managing their money, actively trading their money like the hedge funds were doing over the long term, over a 10-year period. And what happened was exactly what you said. In the beginning, the hedge funds were crushing the index fund. The index fund was down, hedge funds were going up because they were able to find these trades and make all this money in the short term. And the media was asking Warren Buffett, how do you feel about it? He said, the 10 years are not up yet.
Yeah.
And then come year 10, well, then we had some swings in the market, some hedge funds had some losses, you took out their fees, which is also a big chunk of it. After factoring in the fees and all that other stuff, the index fund won. And what did he do? He just put his money into it, sat back and didn't do anything, versus the hedge funds are spending all their time managing the money, trying to beat the markets. And they did for a little bit, but then over the long term, they didn't. And then when you factor in their fees for spending all that time trying to beat the market, now your returns are less than if you just put your money into the market and didn't have to do a thing.
Yeah.
And so this is that basic financial education where it's not as attractive. People want to be able to show off. Like, it's just like people would rather look rich than actually be rich. And you would say, oh, no, I would rather be rich. Well, people's actions speak louder than the words. Because if that's true, you should not have a Gucci belt if you don't have that same amount of money in the market. You should not own a BMW if you do not own any investment portfolio, right? I mean, it's just a matter of looking at what you do. Does it match with what you actually want? If you want to become wealthy, answer is yes. Okay, what are you willing to sacrifice? You have a BMW in the driveway, you got the Gucci belt, you have the Louis Vuitton. If you have this nice stuff, but you don't have the nice assets, your priorities are in the wrong place. And this is just a matter of you looking at yourself in the mirror and being honest with yourself and understanding what do you want. And for a lot of people, maybe this is a matter of financial education, maybe this is a matter of preference, but many people would rather look rich than be rich. If you just look at, what it is. Now, if you dive a little bit deeper, the people that want to actually be rich, we want to be rich today. We want to be rich tomorrow, not be rich in 5-10 years. And so what does that do? It then drives our actions. So it's very difficult now to understand that, hey, I'm willing to sacrifice not only the nice stuff today, but then also not do the attractive, the sexy, the things that are hot, that are making people so much money today, because I believe in this long-term investment that has been time-tested because it's so boring. But the reality is that boring is where the real wealth is built. If you enjoyed this short clip from my longer videos, here's another clip that I think you'll love. And while you're at it, if you're interested in learning more about how to start generating passive income, our team put together an amazing guide on how to start generating passive income for free. All you gotta do is click that button right over there. Thank you for watching, and as always, keep hustling.